Hey everyone. Tonight we drift together through the quiet beauty of thought itself, through forests and oceans, through the hidden minds that live and breathe all around us. This is not a journey into stars or time, but into awareness, the invisible force that moves behind eyes, wings, and fins. So before we begin, take a slow breath. Let your shoulders soften, maybe dim the lights. Let a quiet hum fill the room and allow yourself to float in this calm space where curiosity feels like dreaming. If you enjoy these sleepy explorations, you can like the video or share a thought below, but only if you truly feel it. For now, rest your mind and let's wander gently into tonight's story together. For centuries, humans imagined themselves standing alone on the summit of thought. We built temples, drew constellations, and wrote words to separate ourselves from the rest of life. We called ourselves the thinking animal, as if the world around us was silent, mechanical, asleep. But beneath the stillness of every leaf, behind every glance of fur and feather, there are signals slow, deliberate, and alive. The earth is not quiet. It is whispering through 1,000 languages of perception. Science has begun to listen. In laboratories, jungles, and deep oceans, researchers have uncovered truths that shimmer like bioluminescent sparks, that a crow remembers a human face for years, that a dolphin names her companions, that an elephant mourns its dead. These discoveries do not make animals human. They remind us that humanity is only one expression of a greater intelligence woven through all of life. When we study the animal mind, we are not looking down from above. We are looking sideways, into mirrors shaped differently than ours. A mirror of scent, for dogs, of vibration, for spiders, of color, changing dreams, for octopuses. Each species sees the same world through its own dimension of truth. The history of animal consciousness is, in many ways, the history of humility. Early philosophers believed reason lived only in human language, but the more carefully we observe, the more that wall begins to dissolve. Even simple nervous systems, those of bees or worms, can learn, adapt, and choose. The boundaries blur between reflex and reflection. And somewhere in that blur, awareness blooms. Consider the nervous system itself. Billions of cells whispering in rhythm, like coral polyps in a reef. They do not know the ocean, yet together they create a wave of thought. That pattern repeats throughout evolution. A colony of ants behaves as a single brain. A pod of dolphins as a single mind. Cooperation becomes cognition. Neuroscience now suggests that consciousness may not be an all or nothing state. It may be a spectrum, a shimmering gradient that deepens and changes from one form of life to another. A bird rehearsing songs in sleep shows neural patterns nearly identical to a human musician dreaming of melody. A rat anticipating laughter. A bee hesitating before an unknown scent. Each small reaction, a fragment of awareness flickering in the dark. To study this continuum is to watch nature thinking through many bodies. Intelligence is not a ladder, but a forest, branching, interwoven, alive with possibility. Some trees are tall, some small, yet all draw light from the same sky. And when we look closely, a deeper realization arrives that feeling and knowing are not luxuries of the human brain, but ancient forces that have always guided life. Fear, curiosity, play, attachment. These are not inventions of civilization. They are inherited songs sung by the body. Every creature carries them, humming quietly through instinct and memory. Dogs, octopuses, crows, elephants. They do not share our language, but they share our silence. Their eyes hold questions shaped by the same starlight. Their worlds pulse with recognition, attention, and emotion. To listen to them is to hear echoes of ourselves in the vastness of life. So tonight, as your breathing slows, imagine the planet not as a machine of instinct, but as a living network of thoughts. Imagine the forest dreaming, the sea remembering, the air filled with invisible signals of empathy and recognition. The world is awake, softly, endlessly, beautifully awake. And as you drift towards sleep, remember this: you are not falling away from awareness, but returning to the ocean it comes from the shared mind of life itself. Somewhere in the quiet glow of a sleeping city, a dog lifts its head. Its nose trembles. Invisible patterns flow through the air traces of hormones, the chemistry of emotion itself. To us, the room is still. To the dog, it is alive with feeling. Every breath we exhale carries molecules that change with mood. Cortisol when we're anxious, oxytocin when we're affectionate, adrenaline when we're afraid. These are not poetic symbols, but real, physical signals, drifting like tiny messages through the air. And for the dog, whose world begins and ends with scent, those messages speak volumes. When humans laugh, cry, or tremble, the dog perceives it not through sight or sound, but through the invisible music of chemistry. Studies have shown that dogs can distinguish between the sweat of a fearful person and that of someone who feels joy. When presented with a scent of fear, their hearts race, their tails lower, and they seek closeness, pressing against their owners as if to share the burden. When they smell happiness, they loosen, wag, and radiate calm. This ability to smell emotion is not just perception, it is empathy made tangible. Their brains mirror ours, activating the same regions associated with social recognition and trust. They don't need words or expressions to understand us. They breathe us in and know. Dogs evolved alongside humans for over 30,000 years. Our campfires warmed them, and their vigilance protected us. Over generations, we shaped each other's minds, theirs toward understanding us, ours toward needing them. Their empathy is not an accident. It's the result of a long coevolution of hearts and senses. When your dog leans gently against your leg, it is performing an ancient act, a ritual older than language. In that closeness lies a dialogue that transcends species. I sense you. I understand you. We are one pack beneath this quiet sky. Modern neuroscience confirms what emotion has always known, that oxytocin, the bonding hormone, rises in both humans and dogs when they gaze into each other's eyes. It's the same chemical that binds mothers to infants. This shared response means that affection is not just emotional, it's biological. A bridge of hormones connects two species, transforming companionship into something sacred. To dogs, the world is written in smell, the way ours is written in light. They track history through scent, a timeline made of footsteps, grass, and air. They can follow the emotional trail of someone who has been gone for hours, even days. A familiar scent, faint but distinct, can make them cry out or wag uncontrollably. It is memory carried on the wind. In one experiment, dogs were shown their owner's scent among dozens of samples from strangers. Even when diluted to near invisibility, their brains lit up with recognition, flooding with reward signals. They remember not just the smell of you, but the meaning of it. Safety, warmth, belonging. Empathy, for them, begins in the nose and ends in the heart. When you return home after a difficult day, your dog often greets you differently. They know, before you speak, that something in your body has changed. They lean closer, not demanding attention, but offering calm. It's an unspoken act of healing chemistry, translated into comfort. In ancient cultures, dogs were seen as guardians of souls, guiding the lost across unseen thresholds. Perhaps that myth came from watching their uncanny sensitivity, their way of sensing pain, grief, or fear before any visible sign appears. They have been our silent therapists, our watchers in the night, the first to sense when something in the air is wrong. Imagine, now, the quiet world as your dog perceives it. Each breeze a story, each heartbeat a rhythm of scent. Joy smells warm and bright, like sunlight. Fear smells sharp, metallic, and fast. Through this invisible symphony, they navigate the emotional weather of their human family. In a way, they are always meditating fully present, reading the moment, without judgment. They don't ask why you feel the way you do. They simply know that you feel, and they choose to stay. That, perhaps, is the purest form of understanding. As you close your eyes tonight, think of that quiet companionship of soft fur, a sigh, and the shared breath between two beings who have evolved to comfort each other. Empathy drifts between them like perfume, like wind, like love itself, translated into molecules. Somewhere, a dog rests its head on a sleeping hand. It breathes in, slow and steady, and feels the chemistry of peace. And in that small, invisible language, the oldest friendship on earth continues to whisper. Beneath the silver hush of ocean water, an octopus sleeps. Its body, soft and luminous, folds into the coral's shadows, and then, slowly, something begins to move. Across its skin, colors bloom and fade, like passing thoughts. Amber, violet, pearl, then deep ink, black. It is dreaming, and its mind is painting. Octopuses are creatures of paradox, alien and familiar, simple and complex. Their bodies hold no bones, their brains are scattered through their limbs, and yet they learn, solve puzzles, and even play. They are not bound by human anatomy or perception. Their intelligence flows like water, fluid and decentralized. Every arm contains its own network of neurons, capable of independent decision-making. It's as if the creature's body is thinking through touch, while the central brain drifts somewhere, observing softly. When scientists filmed a sleeping octopus in 2019, they saw something remarkable. As it rested, the colors rippled through its skin, bright white, then rust red, then camouflage, mottled brown. Its chromatophores, tiny sacs of pigment controlled by nerves, flickered in rhythmic sequences. To human eyes, it looked like an ocean dreaming in fast forward. The researchers compared these changes to the REM sleep of mammals, a state when eyes flicker, bodies twitch, and dreams unfurl. If this interpretation is correct, it means the octopus not only sleeps, but experiences its body rehearsing memories or images while at rest. It dreams perhaps of hunting crabs, exploring coral caves, or simply drifting in its liquid world. To dream in color, literally, is a form of expression that transcends speech. It's thought made visible. Their entire skin becomes a projection of inner life, emotion, and imagination, painted in light and pigment. No human language could describe so directly what an octopus shows in silence. The octopus's perception of reality is built from texture and motion. It sees with polarized light, sensing details invisible to our eyes. Its world is full of electric shimmer currents, reflections, and living shadows. To such a being, even sleep must be cinematic, the brain replaying not images but sensations, pressure, flow, color. Scientists have observed octopuses opening jars, escaping tanks, and even collecting objects for decoration. Each action hints at curiosity, not random instinct, but choice. They can recognize individuals, prefer certain people, and express emotion through posture and hue. When content, their colors glow soft and even. When frightened, they flash warning reds. But when they rest, and those colors begin to shift with no threat nearby, we see something deeper, the theater of a mind in quiet motion. Imagine a world where dreams are visible, where every feeling your brain invents plays out across your skin like light on water. That is the octopus's gift. To scientists, it offers clues about the evolution of consciousness. To poets, it offers proof that even the alien can be tender. Their nervous systems challenge the idea that intelligence must be centralized or human-shaped. They show that thought can exist anywhere neurons decide to communicate: in an arm, in a colony, in a field of coral. It reminds us that awareness is not a single candle, but a constellation. In aquariums around the world, people often describe an eerie connection when they meet the gaze of an octopus. Two eyes studying each other through the glass. One terrestrial, one oceanic, yet both aware of being seen. That mutual recognition is fleeting but profound. It's a bridge built entirely from silence. When sleep comes for the octopus, perhaps it is like a tide, a slow retreat into stillness, carrying fragments of memory through the body. Color becomes language. Pattern becomes pulse. And within that luminous shifting, we glimpse the most private act of any mind: to dream. As you rest tonight, imagine those colors glowing beneath the waves, stories written in skin, breathing with the rhythm of the sea. The octopus does not need words or sound. It tells its dreams in light. Maybe we, too, dream in colors we cannot see: inner oceans, painted across the closed eyelids of the mind. The sea sighs. The creature curls into itself again, and the colors fade into calm, pearl gray. Somewhere inside that gentle silence, the dream continues, unspoken and unending. Far below the ocean's silver surface, where light scatters into quiet blues, a sound spirals through the water, soft, rising, and unmistakable. It is not a random whistle. It is a name. A dolphin, sleek and luminous, calls to another across the open sea. The pattern of tones is as unique as a fingerprint. Each dolphin carries a signature whistle that announces, "I am here." Scientists discovered this strange fact in the late 20th century. When bottlenose dolphins are separated, they do not cry or panic. They whistle the unique call of the one they seek, repeating it gently like a question. When the friend answers back with the same sound, the reunion feels almost human recognition through melody. Unlike echoes, these calls are not simple mimicry. They're intentional, specific, and emotional. In one experiment, researchers played recordings of various dolphin whistles. When the subjects heard the sound belonging to a close companion, their heads turned, their swimming slowed, their hearts quickened. The ocean became a conversation. The signature whistle functions much like a personal name. It's learned early in life, often within months of birth. A calf invents its pattern by modifying the sounds of its mother's call, shaping a version that becomes its own. This inheritance mirrors the way human babies babble, testing the edges of language before finding identity in sound. Over time, dolphins remember dozens of these names. They can recognize them even after years apart, an astonishing feat of auditory memory that rivals our recognition of faces. Their social groups, fluid and ever-changing, stay connected through these shared signals. To us, water muffles meaning, but for dolphins, sound is clarity itself. Waves carry more than pitch or rhythm. They carry intention, direction, and emotion. Within each whistle lies information about distance, identity, and even the dolphin's emotional state. The sea, in their world, is not silent, it's woven with voices. Imagine that an ocean filled with names, each one a ripple of recognition. Somewhere in the blue, a mother calls her calf. Somewhere else, old friends exchange greetings across the current. No letters, no syntax, only the pure vibration of connection. The neuroscience behind these sounds is equally wondrous. A dolphin's auditory cortex is vast, occupying more brain space than in humans. Their hearing range stretches into the ultrasonic, allowing them to encode information we can't perceive. And their neocortex, the region tied to self-awareness and social intelligence, is highly folded, dense with neurons. In that labyrinth of grey matter, consciousness flickers in tones instead of thoughts. When a dolphin recognizes its own whistle played back, it reacts with surprise and curiosity, signs that it may understand the concept of self. The whistle, to them, might be more than a sound. It could be a mirror. Language, in the human sense, is built from symbols that point to ideas. But in dolphins, language is sensation, an embodied, fluid thing. It doesn't stop at the mouth or the ear. It moves through the entire body, resonating through the bones and skin. When they speak, they feel their words. Marine biologists often describe dolphin communication as telepathic in sound. The precision is so great that they can coordinate complex group hunts, assigning roles without confusion. They even invent shared whistles for new alliances, the equivalent of naming a friendship. This shared naming system reveals something profound. Identity in the animal kingdom is not limited to instinct. It is relational. To have a name is to exist in the awareness of others. To be called by that name is to be remembered. Think about what that means for empathy. Every time a dolphin calls another by name, it's an act of attention, of recognition. In those rippling vibrations, affection becomes audible. The ocean becomes a network of relationships, all connected by sound. Even the silence between the calls holds meaning. It's the space where the next note might rise, a waiting, a listening, like pauses in a conversation between two old friends who no longer need words. Morning light spills across the city, rooftops, wires, trees, and somewhere, a crow perches, watching. It tilts its head, dark eyes gleaming, as a person walks below. The same person who once frightened it, years ago. The crow remembers, not in the fleeting way of instinct, but in the enduring way of story. For crows, memory is a map that never fades. They recall faces, gestures, and even the emotional tone of encounters. To them, time does not blur. It sharpens. In one famous study, researchers wore distinctive masks while capturing and releasing wild crows. For years afterward, the birds reacted with alarm whenever anyone wore the same mask, even though the original event had long passed. They didn't simply recognize a shape. They remembered an experience. They remembered who and why. Even more astonishing, their offspring young birds who had never seen the mask before joined in the warning calls. They had learned the association from their parents and neighbors. Through this shared memory, an entire community of crows became historians, passing knowledge through generations. A story of danger told without words, written instead in sound and flight. Memory, for them, is not stored only in one brain. It lives in the flock, a collective intelligence woven from many lives. Each crow carries part of it, like a verse in a song that only makes sense when sung together. They recognize human faces for years. They can distinguish friendly from hostile expressions. And they do not forget kindness either. Some crows have been known to bring small gifts, shiny buttons, bits of glass, bright foil to people who fed them gently. In their world, gratitude glimmers. Their minds are layered with complexity. Crows solve puzzles with tools, plan for the future, and even deceive. But beneath all that logic lies something more emotional, a sensitivity to relationship. They know who has wronged them, who has helped them, and who simply watches with quiet curiosity. When a crow caws sharply at the sight of a known threat, nearby crows take notice. They adjust flight paths, remember locations, and pass along the warning. This network of communication stretches through neighborhoods like invisible threads. Every day, information moves through the air, a language of tone, timing, and intent. And yet, amid that sharp intelligence, there are moments of gentleness too. A crow sits beside a fallen companion, nudging it softly before flying off. It may return later, circling low, as if to confirm what it already knows, the absence that memory cannot mend. Scientists call this sentinel behavior, but perhaps it is something quieter recognition of loss. Even birds, it seems, pause to honor what once was. If you ever meet a crow's gaze, linger for a moment. That steady stare is not empty. Behind those dark eyes is a mind comparing, recalling, wondering if you are one it knows. Whether you are friend or foe, remembered or new. In cities and forests alike, crows live among us as quiet observers of our lives. They watch us cross streets, feed children, build homes, argue, laugh, and they remember. It is humbling to think that as we forget so much of our own days, a crow might carry a memory of us longer than we do of it. Somewhere, perched on a lamppost, one of them may still recall your face, filed away in its black feathered mind, a story preserved in wings and wind. To remember is to connect the past with the present. For crows, that connection never breaks. Their minds, alive with detail and nuance, remind us that intelligence is not only measured in logic, but in the persistence of awareness, in the refusal to let the world slip away. And so, as dusk settles over rooftops, a crow lifts off, its wings slicing through orange light. Below, the city hums with forgetfulness. Above, memory flies. The savannah lies quiet beneath the fading light grass, turning gold, the air thick with dust and distance. From far away, you can hear it, a deep rumble, low as thunder but softer, traveling through the ground more than the air. It is the voice of elephants, ancient, patient, carrying messages no wind can erase. Among them walks memory itself. When an elephant dies, the living remember. They gather in a slow procession, trunks tracing the air like prayers. Their pace slows, their voices change. What follows is not instinct alone, it is ritual. Elephants have been seen approaching the bones of their dead from miles away, guided by memory and scent. They touch the skulls gently, tracing tusks with the tips of their trunks, standing still for long minutes in silence. Some kneel or lift a single bone, turning it with care as though trying to understand what remains. Others linger, swaying, eyes half closed. They ignore the bones of other species. They know their own. Scientists once called this curiosity. Now they call it mourning. When a calf dies, the mother stays beside the body for hours, sometimes days. She nudges it, trumpets softly, and refuses to leave until exhaustion forces her away. Herd members return later, standing vigil in the same place, a circle of quiet presence around the absent one. No command, no expectation, only shared sorrow. After such losses, their behavior changes. The herd moves slower, eats less, and stays close together. Those who are nearest to the dead often receive more gentle touches, more time spent side by side. In their own way, elephants comfort the grieving. It is empathy carved into behavior, not taught, not spoken, but felt. Their brains, the largest among land mammals, contain a dense network of neurons devoted to emotion and memory. They can recognize individuals decades after last contact. They know the voices of friends and the scent of family. Their minds are living archives, repositories of social history. This is why loss echoes so deeply. When one falls, the herd feels not only absence, but continuity disrupted, a story interrupted mid-sentence. In some places, locals tell of herds that return year after year to the same grove where a matriarch died. They touch the trees, rumble softly, and move on. Science calls it revisiting, but perhaps it is remembrance. The way they touch the bones, slow, deliberate, resembles our own gestures of grief. A hand brushing against a photograph, a finger tracing a name carved in stone. Different species, same silence. Same need to stay close a moment longer before letting go. To grieve is to love beyond the moment of life. It is proof that memory can reach farther than the body. And in that, elephants and humans are not so different. In the great rhythm of the savannah, everything moves: the wind, the herds, the seasons. But within that motion, there are pauses, sacred stillnesses where life bows to what once was. In those pauses, an elephant's heart remembers. One calf leans gently against its mother. An old bull stands apart, watching the horizon where the lost one vanished. Dust swirls in the sunset, gold and weightless. Somewhere, a low call rolls through the earth, deep, resonant, full of feeling. It is not a cry of despair, but of connection. Because in the elephant mind, grief is not an ending. It is a bridge from presence to memory, from life to meaning. And perhaps that's what mourning truly is. The way intelligence makes peace with love. The herd moves on, slow and solemn, the sound of their footsteps fading into the grass. But in the soil beneath them, and in the memory they carry, nothing is ever truly gone. In a rainforest thick with rain and color, a glimmer of sound cuts through the canopy. A voice, rising and falling like laughter woven into sunlight. It is not human. It is a parrot speaking. What does it mean when a bird learns our words? When a creature of feathers and flight crosses into the world of symbols and names? Perhaps it is not imitation at all, but translation, one mind reaching for another across the gap of species. Parrots do not merely echo what they hear. They understand. The African grey parrot, with eyes bright as mercury and a mind as sharp as silver, can comprehend colors, shapes, and numbers. One individual, named Alex, learned over 100 words and could combine them meaningfully. When shown a key and asked its color, he said, green. When shown a new fruit, red and round, he called it a banana berry. He was inventing language, bridging what he knew with what he saw. This ability reveals something profound: abstraction. To understand that a sound represents an idea, not just a reward, is to grasp the essence of communication itself. In that moment, the parrot stops mimicking and starts thinking. Their intelligence extends beyond vocabulary. They reason, they count, they even show preference. Ask one whether it wants corn or nut, and it will choose consistently, sometimes even refusing what it dislikes with a sharp, decisive no. Such precision requires not only memory, but will the quiet assertion of selfhood. When parrots bond with humans, they learn our emotional cadences as much as our words. They pick up laughter, sighs, and tones of affection. They know when we are sad and mirror the softness of our voices. It's empathy rendered in echo. In the wild, their communication is no less sophisticated. Flocks exchange complex calls that vary by region, dialects of song, passed down through generations. Young parrots learn by listening to elders, shaping their own voices until they match the melody of home. Each flock, then, carries a unique accent, a musical fingerprint of belonging. When a parrot speaks, sound becomes memory. Every note is a thread connecting the present to its ancestral forest, where language began not with logic, but with rhythm and emotion. To study them is to glimpse the architecture of thought made audible. Inside their small skulls lies a brain structured differently from ours, yet rich in connections. Neurons cluster densely in the pallium, the avian equivalent of our cortex, forming pathways for reasoning, recognition, and imagination. They can plan steps ahead, delay gratification, even solve puzzles involving cause and effect. But perhaps their most astonishing gift is creativity. When faced with something unfamiliar, parrots often combine old words into new ones, as Alex did. They invent, they describe, they make meaning, where none existed before. It is the same impulse that drives poetry, art, and science, the desire to name what we experience. In captivity, some parrots form deep attachments to their human companions. When separated, they call the person's name until they return. When that person dies, some fall silent, refusing food for days, grief voiced through absence. They remember not only sound, but connection. To speak, for them, is to love. And there's something deeply humbling in that, a creature born of sky, learning the language of those bound to the ground. Each word they utter is a bridge, each mimicry, a form of empathy disguised as sound. Imagine their perception, a world alive with vibration, each tree and breeze carrying potential meaning. They listen the way we dream, fully immersed, receptive, awake to every nuance. When night falls in the forest, their chatter fades into murmurs, then silence. But within that silence lies the memory of 1,000 words, exchanged across branches, carried on wind. Language, in its purest form, is not a system. It is a rhythm of understanding, the pulse of one mind recognizing another. And so, the parrot's song is not a trick. It is a revelation, proof that consciousness, no matter its shape, seeks always to be heard. Perhaps that is the heart of all language, not words, not grammar, but the yearning to connect, to say, I am here, to ask, do you see me? And to hear, from somewhere in the leaves, an answering voice, yes, I do. In the stillness of a laboratory, under soft red light, a small creature twitches its whiskers. A hand reaches in gentle, practiced, and touches its side. The rat shivers, then emits a sound far too high for the human ear. It is laughter, tiny, bright bursts of joy, hidden beyond the limits of our hearing. When slowed down, those ultrasonic chirps sound eerily familiar, playful, giddy, alive. It turns out, even the smallest mammals may know the feeling of happiness. Researchers discovered this accidentally. They were studying social bonding when one scientist decided, out of curiosity, to tickle a rat. To his surprise, the animal leaned into the touch, not away. It began to chase the moving hand, jumping and squeaking, its body language full of delight. When the tickling stopped, it followed the hand, asking for more. That laughter wasn't random. It came only when the animal felt safe, when trust had been built. Under stress or fear, the sound vanished completely. This means that joy, even in a creature so small, depends on emotional context. Safety first, then play. The discovery reshaped how scientists think about emotion. For decades, joy and empathy were seen as luxuries of larger brains. But the rat, humble and unnoticed, proved otherwise. Inside its tiny skull, the architecture of happiness hums with the same chemicals that govern our own dopamine, endorphins, oxytocin, different forms, same feeling. When rats play, they chase each other with squeaks that mirror laughter between friends. They wrestle, leap, and tumble. You can almost imagine their joy, pure, kinetic, free. Even in groups, they take turns, respecting one another's space, as though following invisible rules of fairness. Some researchers believe that play is one of evolution's oldest teachers, the way intelligence learns flexibility. In that sense, the rat's laughter isn't trivial. It is practice for empathy, communication, and trust. And when we listen, truly listen, we realize how much we've been missing. The high-pitched chirps, the body language, the pauses, all form a language of emotion, as real as our own speech. It's simply written in frequencies we never thought to hear. There's a lesson in that. That joy can exist anywhere. Life has the capacity to connect. That pleasure isn't a sign of luxury, but of awareness. That happiness at its simplest, is recognition. I am safe here. I am not alone. When you watch them, those small, bright-eyed beings, something remarkable happens. You begin to see play not as a distraction from survival, but as part of it. To play is to trust the world enough to let go of vigilance, even for a moment. And that, perhaps, is the truest measure of peace. Somewhere in the quiet of night, in the corners of their glass enclosures, rats still laugh. They run, wrestle, and sing their tiny joy songs to one another in a frequency beyond our reach. We do not hear them, but we are surrounded by them. Echoes of laughter we didn't know existed. Imagine a world where every creature, great and small, could express its happiness openly, where we listened beyond our range, tuned to the invisible frequencies of kindness and play. Perhaps we would realize that joy, like gravity, connects all living things. In the end, the rat's laughter isn't just about play. It's a reminder that emotion, in all its warmth and mystery, does not belong to us alone. It hums through fur and feather, through the spaces between heartbeat and breath. If you listen carefully, very carefully, you might almost hear it, a faint, high giggle rising out of darkness, proof that somewhere, in a tiny chest, a heart is happy. In the calm shimmer of a tide pool, a fish drifts downward, carrying something smooth and round in its mouth. It drops the shell onto a rock, then strikes it once, twice, until it cracks open. The fish eats, and the ocean keeps its secret. For thousands of years, we thought tool use was uniquely human, or at least uniquely clever. Yet, again and again, the animal world proves otherwise. Ingenuity is not confined to hands and language. It exists wherever life meets a challenge and dares to imagine a way around it. Octopuses collect coconut shells and carry them across the sea floor, assembling shelters piece by piece like wandering architects. Sea otters float on their backs, balancing stones upon their bellies to crack clams using the same stone again and again, carrying it under their arms like a favorite tool. Crows bend bits of wire into hooks, solving puzzles designed by scientists. Orangutans in the rainforests of Borneo tear broad leaves and hold them above their heads, making umbrellas from the forest itself. These are not accidents. They are acts of awareness, foresight, memory, and planning, signs of a mind that not only reacts to the present, but shapes the future. Consider the crow again, this time in a laboratory. Faced with a puzzle box containing food, it observes, waits, then selects the right stick. If the stick is too short, it uses it to retrieve a longer one from another tube, a tool, to get a tool. That's not just cleverness, it's layered reasoning, a step toward abstract thought. And beneath the sea, dolphins carry sponges in their beaks to protect themselves while foraging across sharp coral, an innovation taught from mother to calf. Entire lineages of dolphins, generation after generation, have become tool specialists, shaping culture beneath the waves. Tool use, then, is not simply about survival. It is about time. To hold an object for later means to believe in a future self, to imagine a moment not yet real. That small leap of imagination marks the beginning of planning, and perhaps of what we call intelligence. Even elephants use branches to swat flies or scratch unreachable places, breaking the branches to just the right length. They know what they need, and they modify the world to meet that need. When they encounter electric fences, they've been observed using logs to knock down the posts, problem-solving through cooperation and design. These actions ripple with awareness. They show that cognition is not a single spark, but a spectrum of creativity. Across species, thought takes form in countless ways: beak, trunk, fin, claw, each a different instrument of imagination. In the great timeline of evolution, tool use may be as old as curiosity itself. Early hominids once struck stones together to make edges. Crows shape twigs. Otters break shells. Different branches of life, same principle. Interaction made intelligent. But behind every tool lies something even more mysterious: play. Many of these inventions begin as exploration. A stick picked up, a rock dropped by chance. The discovery is born of curiosity, not necessity. Intelligence, then, may not always start with hunger or need, but with wonder. Watch an orangutan testing a branch, turning it in its hands. There's a patience to the gesture, a pause before decision. That pause is thought a silence filled with possibility. When we step back and see it all, the fish cracking shells, the bird crafting hooks, the primate folding leaves, we realize that the urge to create solutions flows through nature like a shared song. Every species hums its own verse. Together, they form a chorus of adaptation and art. Perhaps the greatest tool is not the object itself, but the ability to imagine what it could become. A stick is not just wood, it's potential. A shell is not just protection, it's memory waiting to be used again. This capacity to see beyond the immediate moment unites us all in one long experiment of mind. As twilight gathers, the fish settles under the reef once more. It nudges a fragment of shell into place, safe for tomorrow's meal. In that small act of foresight, we glimpse a spark of the same intelligence that once kindled fire on land. And so, the mind of Earth keeps building quietly, patiently, one idea at a time. At dusk on the open sea, a pod of orcas moves together, bodies slicing through the violet water in near-perfect synchrony. From above, their motion looks choreographed, a dance written in sound and instinct. But what guides them isn't just instinct, it's memory, it's culture. Culture, once considered the defining feature of humanity, now appears across the living world like an ancient pattern hidden in plain sight. It exists wherever knowledge is shared, not by genes but by learning, wherever experience flows from one generation to the next. In the deep, orcas pass down hunting techniques as precise as crafts. Some specialize in ambushing seals on ice floes. Others herd fish into tight spirals with bursts of sound. Each pod's method is distinct, a local tradition, perfected over time. Young orcas learn by watching, imitating, and practicing until motion becomes inheritance. In another ocean, humpback whales sing. Their songs ripple across thousands of miles, echoing through the dark water. Each season brings subtle variations, new phrases, new themes passed like melodies through the population. It is art as evolution, sound as shared memory. One whale invents, another imitates, and slowly, the ocean's voice changes. On land, chimpanzees teach their young to fish termites with sticks, to crack nuts with stones, to make leaf sponges for drinking. Different communities favor different tools. Techniques evolve through imitation and teaching. If a group vanishes, so does its knowledge, an entire cultural lineage lost in silence. Even among birds, tradition flourishes. Young zebra finches learn their songs from fathers, not from instinct alone. If raised without a tutor, their songs warp crude and unfinished. But give them a mentor, and music returns, passed down like language through generations of feathers and breath. These patterns prove that culture is not a privilege of humanity, but a function of consciousness itself. To learn from others is to value connection. To remember what one has learned is to honor continuity. Think of elephants remembering migration routes traced centuries before, of dolphins teaching new vocal patterns to their calves, of meerkats showing pups how to handle scorpions safely, adjusting their lessons to the young one's skill. Each act is not survival alone, it's mentorship. Culture begins where care meets curiosity. It requires time, patience, and trust, qualities that link intelligence to compassion. The most profound discovery in behavioral science over the past century is not that animals are capable of learning, but that they teach. And teaching, by definition, requires empathy. It means recognizing ignorance in another and choosing to guide it toward understanding. In that light, the forests and oceans become classrooms. The teachers, whales, primates, birds, even insects, pass along strategies honed through lifetimes. And the students, watching with eyes or echo or vibration, become keepers of tradition. When culture thrives, individuality softens into community. Each creature contributes a thread to the greater fabric of life. Even failure becomes valuable a story to prevent future mistakes. In this way, evolution and culture intertwine, one shaping the other, both guided by memory. Imagine standing beneath a forest, where every sound is a lesson: the call that signals food, the rhythm that marks danger, the soft grooming gestures that maintain peace. These are customs invisible, intricate, alive, and when we look closer, we realize that our own culture, the stories we tell, the songs we sing, is not apart from nature, but a continuation of it. We are participants in a conversation billions of years old. The orcas dive deeper, their silhouettes vanishing into indigo, their calls fade, carrying knowledge into the next dawn. Somewhere, young calves listen, learning the rhythm of their lineage, the ancient art of being alive together. Culture, at its core, is remembrance set to motion. And in every ocean, forest and sky, the world remembers. A mirror is a simple thing, a surface that reflects. Yet when a living creature looks into it and pauses, the world changes. That pause, that moment of hesitation, recognition, or wonder may be one of the quietest signs of consciousness. For centuries, philosophers asked, "What does it mean to know yourself?" They searched for answers in language, logic, and art. But the mirror test, as humble as it is, revealed that self-awareness may have always existed beyond us, hidden in feathers, trunks, and fins. It began in the 1970 seconds, when psychologist Gordon Gallup placed a mirror in front of a chimpanzee. At first, the animal reacted with curiosity, then confusion touching its reflection, looking behind the glass, even making faces. Then came the realization. A mark had been placed on its forehead while it slept. When it saw the mark in the mirror, it reached up and touched its own skin, not the image itself. That gesture, so small and human, changed everything. It meant the chimp understood that the figure before it was not another being, but its own body, its own presence. From that moment, the mirror became more than a tool. It became a window into the inner life of other minds. Since then, more species have joined that rare circle of recognition. Orangutans, bonobos, dolphins, elephants, magpies, and even a small fish, the cleaner wrasse, have all passed versions of the test. Each in its own way paused, examined, and responded not with aggression or confusion, but with knowing. When an elephant stands before a mirror, it often moves slowly, deliberately. It traces the surface with its trunk, swaying as though considering. Once, an elephant named Happy touched a painted mark on her head. After seeing it reflected an act no instinct could explain away. It was the gesture of awareness, quiet and intimate. Dolphins, too, show fascination with mirrors. They twist, turn, and examine themselves from every angle, blowing bubbles to test their reflection. Some open their mouths, watching their teeth glint. Others perform slow, graceful rolls, as if savoring the novelty of being visible to oneself. When shown mirrors underwater, they do not mistake them for companions. They seem to recognize that the gaze staring back belongs to them. In magpies, small black and white birds, self-recognition comes with a flutter of wings and thought. When scientists marked their feathers with a colored spot, the birds preened the exact area, using the mirror as guidance. No human language, no mammalian brain. Yet, there it was again, the spark of self. But what does that spark mean? Is self-recognition proof of consciousness, or simply one doorway into it? Perhaps awareness exists on a continuum, changing in texture from species to species, the way light shifts as it passes through water, leaf, or air. Some creatures may not see themselves as separate beings, but still feel, remember, choose, and dream. Still, to recognize oneself even fleetingly is to stand apart from the world long enough to notice you exist within it. It's the first whisper of identity, the beginning of the phrase "I am." When a child first recognizes their reflection, they laugh, touch the glass, and call their own name. It's a moment of magic, the birth of memory tied to the body. And when a dolphin spins before a mirror, or a magpie straightens its feathers, we witness that same magic repeating across evolution. Self-awareness does not make one species superior. It connects them, proof that the universe, through life, has found ways to observe itself. Each pair of eyes, each neuron, each reflection is another window for the cosmos to look back and wonder. If you stand before a mirror tonight, notice the calm recognition in your own eyes. Then imagine, somewhere in the savannah, an elephant doing the same beneath a fading moon, or a dolphin floating near its reflection, silver light rippling across its skin. Countless minds, each gazing at its own image, each discovering, in silence, that it exists. The mirror is only glass, but what it reveals is infinite. Dawn spills across the meadow, and a single bee lifts into the air, its wings catching sunlight like fragments of gold. It moves not in chaos, but in geometry, tracing invisible angles through the sky. Each turn, each vibration, each flicker of motion carries meaning. For bees, communication is mathematics set to rhythm. When a forager returns to the hive, she performs the famous waggle dance, a pattern of figure eights that encodes the direction and distance of nectar. The angle of her dance, relative to gravity, tells others where the food lies in relation to the sundae. The duration of her waggle marks the distance. Every gesture is data, written in motion, understood by hundreds of watching minds. This choreography of light and instinct transforms a simple insect into a living compass. Her dance is an equation, solved by those who follow. They fly away and find the flowers exactly where she promised. It would be miraculous enough if that were all. But recent studies show that bees understand more abstract ideas: symmetry, quantity, even the concept of zero. In one experiment, they learned to choose images showing fewer symbols to receive a reward. Eventually, they began to treat a blank image, nothing at all, as representing less than one. That means, somewhere in that small brain, the absence of something became a thing in itself. A void, recognized and named. The human mind needed millennia to conceive of zero. The bee did it between blooms. Their world runs on patterns, angles of light, shapes of petals, rhythm of scent. They navigate vast distances and always find their way home, guided by polarized light and magnetic fields invisible to us. Each one, a small mathematician of motion. And beneath the soil, another kind of mind awakens, a colony of ants, millions of individuals. Each small as a grain of rice begins its day. They move through tunnels carved into the earth, branching like neurons. If you could listen to them from above, it would sound like thought signals passing, tasks shifting, the rhythm of order emerging from chaos. Ants do not have leaders. Yet they behave as if they share one mind. Information travels through touch and pheromone. When one discovers food, it leaves a trail, a chemical thread that others follow, strengthening it with each step. The path grows, solidifies, becomes memory. When obstacles appear, the colony adapts collectively, rerouting like a living algorithm. No single ant knows the plan, but together they behave as if they do. This is emergent intelligence thought, arising from connection, order born from countless small decisions. In one species, the teacher ant has been observed, guiding a novice walking slowly, pausing until the student catches up, then continuing. That behavior, called tandem running, is one of the simplest examples of teaching in the animal world. It costs the teacher time, but it ensures the survival of the colony's knowledge. From that small act of patience, culture begins again. Both bees and ants show us that intelligence does not need a face, a voice, or even a single brain. It can exist as pattern, as rhythm, as cooperation. One mind distributed across thousands of tiny bodies, humming in unison. Their societies are mathematical poems, every movement purposeful, every path balanced between precision and adaptation. Where we build with blueprints, they build with instinct shaped by evolution's memory. Somewhere in that hive, a bee measures the angle of sunlight and adjusts her dance by a few degrees. Somewhere underground, an ant pauses to let her student catch up. Neither knows that they are performing something astonishing. Neither needs to. Awareness, here, is collective belonging to the whole, not the part. If consciousness is the universe trying to understand itself, perhaps it doesn't always happen through solitary thought. Sometimes it hums through the crowd a pulse that no individual can claim but all sustain. Tonight, as the world quiets, imagine that hum beneath everything in the soil, in the air, in the spaces between stars. Tiny lives, perfectly organized, thinking together without knowing they think. The same pattern repeats everywhere. Connection forming intelligence, simplicity birthing wonder. The hive cools in evening light. Bees settle, their wings folding like pages closing. Ants retreat to their chambers, the tunnels glowing faintly with warmth. Each creature rests, its part complete in the vast equation of life. And if you listen closely enough, you can almost hear it, the low, steady murmur of the planet counting itself to sleep. In the forest before dawn, a pack of wolves lifts its voice to the fading moon. Each howl joins the next, until the night itself seems to breathe with them, a single sound made of many hearts. What we hear is music. What they feel is emotion made visible in air. For a long time, we imagined that emotion belonged only to us, that joy, grief, or fairness required human words to exist. But nature has always felt more deeply than we knew. Emotions, it seems, are not decorations of the mind. They are its pulse. Among wolves, affection and fairness govern survival. They live by balance, by a social contract, enforced not through dominance, but through understanding. A hungry wolf may still yield food to an injured companion. A leader may step aside to let the young feed first. Their behavior is not driven only by hierarchy, but by empathy. In experiments with domesticated dogs, the wolf's descendants' fairness becomes visible. When two dogs are asked to perform the same task, but rewarded unequally, the one left unrewarded stops participating. It looks away, refuses to offer its paw again. That reaction, indignation, awareness of inequity, mirrors the human sense of justice. The roots of morality may run deeper than we ever thought. Across the ocean, dolphins display compassion just as tangible. They support the sick, lifting them gently to breathe. When an orca loses her calf, others gather close, their movements slowing in a ritual that feels unmistakably like mourning. Grief in the sea, moves in waves. Even the small and fragile know emotion. When honeybees are shaken or deprived of nectar, their neural chemistry changes. Their behavior grows hesitant, less curious a phenomenon researchers call pessimistic bias. Hope and discouragement, it turns out, are not inventions of language, but ancient tools for survival. In the world of primates, emotion takes on even richer form. Chimpanzees reconcile after fights, embracing or grooming to restore trust. Bonobos, our gentler cousins, resolve conflict through tenderness instead of violence, touch as forgiveness. They know that peace is not absence of struggle, but restoration of belonging. And then there are the elephants again, returning to the bones of their kin, standing in silence, their trunks tracing memory. Emotion moves through them like gravity, invisible but inescapable. Everywhere we look, the story is the same. Life feels. Whether through chemical pulses, gestures, or song, emotion connects individuals to their world and to one another. It is the glue that holds consciousness together. For the longest time, scientists avoided words like love or sadness when describing animals. They feared sentiment would cloud observation. But emotion, when studied carefully, is measurable. Heart rate, hormones, neural activation. The data sings of feeling. It makes sense evolution has no reason to discard something so powerful. Empathy binds social creatures. Joy reinforces cooperation. Sorrow teaches attachment. Emotion is memory in motion, carrying lessons from one generation to the next. Imagine a troop of monkeys sharing fruit under the midday sundae. One finds an injured companion and brings food closer, sitting beside it until the pain fades. No command told it to do this. Something older than thought did. Something that says, we survive better when we care. In that light, every display of kindness between species, or within one, is not a miracle, but a continuation. The same currents that move through our hearts flow through theirs. We are simply tuned to the same emotional field. As night falls again, the wolves return to their den. The youngest presses its body against the eldest, eyes half closed, the rhythm of breath synchronizing. Outside, a thin snow drifts down, silent and soft. The pack sleeps as one, a constellation of warmth in the cold. Emotion, it seems, is nature's first language. Before thought, before speech, there was the pulse of connection, heart answering heart, across fur, feather, and skin. And in that rhythm, life found something greater than survival. It found meaning. On a bright morning above the sea, a dolphin blows a perfect ring of silver bubbles. It watches the circle rise, nudges it with its snout, and splits it into two smaller rings that spiral upward together. Then, as if delighted by its own creation, it swims through the middle laughter, made liquid, play. It's one of the simplest, purest behaviors in nature, and one of the most mysterious. It doesn't feed, protect, or directly ensure survival. Yet, almost every intelligent species does it, which means play is not waste, it's wisdom. In the animal world, play is the laboratory of consciousness. It's where creativity is born, where rules are tested, where freedom becomes thought. Watch a crow, drop a stick from the sky, catch it again, then drop it once more. No purpose, only joy in control, in precision, in gravity, obeying and disobeying at its command. Or a sea otter floating on its back, tossing a pebble between its paws as if practicing patience. Each movement is curiosity with wings. When ravens slide down snowy rooftops, wings tucked tight, then climb back up, to do it again, they are scientists of sensation, testing friction, balance, and thrill, repeating experiments simply because delight itself is reason enough. Primates, too, play endlessly. Young chimpanzees wrestle and chase, inventing rules as they go. A leader will sometimes feign defeat, allowing the young to win, teaching fairness through surrender. Bonobos tickle each other, trading roles, learning empathy through laughter. Every game is a rehearsal for peace. Even reptiles and fish join the dance. Iguanas play with hanging vines. Manta rays somersault for no reason, except that movement feels like life. Octopuses, those ancient minds of the sea, have been seen bouncing bottle caps and manipulating toys for hours, observing how things react, as though testing the world's logic. Why does play exist? Because play is learning disguised as joy. It's the nervous system teaching itself to improvise, to adapt, to imagine. It's a rehearsal for the unpredictable, the mind exploring possibilities before the world demands them. Neuroscientists studying mammals found that play stimulates the prefrontal cortex, the region responsible for decision-making, social understanding, and imagination. When two animals play, their brains synchronize in rhythm, mirroring each other's energy. It's empathy in motion, cognition born from connection. In wolves, play maintains harmony within the pack. It releases tension, repairs bonds, keeps hierarchies flexible. Without it, aggression hardens. With it, life flows. Humans, too, are shaped by the same need. Children at play invent entire worlds. Through games of pretend, they learn the grammar of empathy, how to switch perspectives, how to share stories. Our creativity, art, science, language, may all be the long echo of an instinct that once belonged to every living thing, the urge to explore through joy. Play, then, is not a luxury. It's a declaration of trust. Trust that the world is safe enough to be curious. It's the brain saying, there is time to wonder. Even in the darkest places, animals find moments for it. A fox tumbling in fresh snow, a raven chasing its shadow, a polar bear sliding down ice just for the feeling of gliding. Evolution could have made life efficient and joyless, but it didn't. It left room for laughter. In that space of delight, something sacred happens. Awareness expands. The dolphin learns the physics of bubbles. The crow learns the pleasure of flight. And somewhere within that learning, mind becomes more than survival. It becomes art. When night returns to the ocean, the dolphin rests beneath the moonlight, its reflection rippling softly. Around it drift faint rings of air, dissolving one by one like fading thoughts. Tomorrow, it will make them again, not because it must, but because it can. And perhaps that is the essence of being alive. To create without necessity, to explore without reason, to play simply because the universe allows it. Night has fallen again, and the world hums beneath its quiet skin. Across forests, oceans, and fields, countless lives have drifted into rest. Wolves curl together in warmth. Octopuses dim to pale stillness under coral shadows. Above them, bees cluster in sleep, their tiny hearts pulsing in rhythm with the hive. And somewhere far beyond the clouds, whales glide through moonlit water, singing the language of memory. All through this planet, awareness flickers not as a single flame, but as a constellation of many lights. Each creature carries its own kind of knowing. A dog, dreaming of its human. A crow recalling a face. A dolphin remembering the shape of a voice. For centuries, we looked for intelligence by searching for ourselves. But the truth is softer, wider, and more astonishing. Consciousness does not wear one form. It breathes through feathers, fur, and scale. It drifts through the dark waters and waits in the silence of wings. It is everywhere. Life has learned to listen. The spider counting the steps of its web, the elephant tracing bones of its ancestors, the rat laughing when tickled, Each is a verse in the same endless poem. Together, they form a pattern, a universe that thinks through touch, motion, scent, and song. If you could rise above the world tonight high enough to see every heartbeat, every glimmer of thought, you would see not separation, but connection. An invisible network of awareness, stretching from reef to cloud, from burrow to star. Every mind is a note in that quiet symphony. Every memory, a thread that ties one life to another. The more we learn, the less alone we become, because each discovery, each new proof that another being feels, plans, or dreams is a mirror. It reminds us that understanding is not a human privilege. It is a property of life itself. Every cell that reaches outward is a question whispered into the dark. Who else is here with me? And the answer comes in the wag of a tail, in the rumble of an elephant's chest, in the shimmer of a cuttlefish's color, in the trembling silence after a whale's song fades. They are all saying it in their own ways. We are here. We are aware. We are alive with you. So as you lie here now, breathing in rhythm with this living planet, feel the web that holds you. Each breath you take is shared, recycled by trees, oceans, moss, and time. The air itself remembers the wings that once beat through it. Every inhale carries the ghost of another life, and every exhale becomes part of the next. Let that thought settle softly around you. The world is not separate from your mind. It is your mind, extended outward. You are the ocean that dreams, the forest that remembers, the star that became aware of its own light. Let your eyes grow heavy. Let your breath slow. The animals of the earth are sleeping now, and so may you, not apart from them, but among them, woven into the same fabric of rest and thought. The hive hums, the waves roll, the trees breathe. Everything is thinking, quietly. Everything is dreaming, endlessly. And tonight, you are part of that dream. Good night, wanderer of worlds. May your mind drift kindly through the great web of awareness, gentle, connected, and free.